Foundations cooking class. This morning we have Miss Kirk, Mrs. Humphreys, and Mrs. Morkler. There she is. We're going to be doing a cooking class for you guys, so that if you want to be able to do this at home, you guys can follow along after, okay? Alrighty, so the first thing we have to do is we have to clean and disinfect our table space, okay? Okay, Miss Kirk is going to come behind, and then I'll follow her with a dry cloth, just like we do when you guys are with us at school. And today we are going to be making the cheesecake brownies, just like we had at school before. You'll be able to tell your family exactly what these are like because you guys have helped us make these at school before. Okay, tables are all cleaned and disinfected. We have our aprons on, and we are now ready to start getting the ingredients for the cheesecake brownies. And we will be getting our gloves on too. Alrighty? Okay. So I'm going to list off all the ingredients that we need, and then Mrs. Humphreys, Miss Kirk, and myself will be getting the supplies, and we'll show you everything on the table, okay? So we need flour and baking powder, salt and margarine, and we need cocoa and sugar. We have eggs and also vanilla, and we need some cream cheese as well. Okay, and spoons. The oven that we need, it needs to be turned on at 350 degrees.
I got it here.
Oh, you yeah. Okay, so we need flour, baking powder, salt, margarine. So the first thing we have to do is we have to mix together the flour and the baking powder and salt. Now we need 2/3 cup of flour, and because we're going to be making a double batch, we're going to have to measure that twice. So Miss Kirk, if you want to do the flour, she's using a 1/3 cup, so she's going to do that 4 times. And I will get a 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, so doubling that, I will need 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and that can all go into the same bowl.
We need a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, so we're doubling that. 1/4 and 1/4 is a 1/2. Use a 4 times? Yes, please. 1/3 of a cup.
What do we have in here right now, Ms. Monaco?
We have flour, we have baking powder, and we have salt, and we're going to just gently stir that. And then we need to melt our margarine. We need 1 cup of margarine, and we're going to melt it in the microwave. Okay, so this flour is all good. We're just going to set it to the side. And we'll need a little dish, and each of these should be a 1/2 cup.
So that should be a cup then.
That would be 2 halves we'll need. Next we need to blend in, so when that comes out of the microwave, we're going to put in the cocoa. And the cocoa is a 1/4 cup and a 1/4 cup. So we need a total of 1/2 cup of cocoa. Would you like to do the cocoa?
I can absolutely.
Okay. And then for the sugar, we're going to need 2 cups of sugar.
So putting in our other bowl.
Okay, and when the butter is all melted, we'll give that a stir. Off that cup. Okay, so that is 1 cup. We're waiting. Oh, I know what else we need to do too. We are going to put this into a 9 by 13 baking pan, a cake pan, so we're also going to line it with the parchment paper. Just on the top there. Okay, let's give this butter and cocoa a stir. This is going to be the bottom part of the square that we're making. This is where we're going to add the sugar, and then we'll eventually add all the flour into it. Okay, so now we need to add into here, into the cocoa and the butter, we need to add the sugar. Now I needed 2 cups of sugar. This is only 1 cup. So I will get the second cup. And I will level that off. There is the second cup there. And we need 2 eggs. But because we're doubling this, we're going to need a total of 4 eggs now.
So we always like to crack our eggs into a separate little dish, just in case we end up with some eggshells in there. Miss Cook, would you be able to empty that into there, and then I can crack another one? So that's 1 egg. You guys at home, you can help me keep track of how many eggs I put in there. There goes 3. And the last one is 4. Okay.
Okay, and we also need vanilla. So we need 3/4 of a teaspoon. There we go. Miss Kirk is going to pour. So it's 1, 2, and 3, and
Okay, now we need to give this a stir. Gotta break up those eggs. I'm just gonna give this a good stir. And as I'm beating this, all of those eggs are getting mixed in here really, really well. Okay, so this is what it's gonna look like. Can you guys see that from home? Like chocolate soup.
just like chocolate soup, chocolate pudding.
Chocolate pudding, yeah.
Okay, this looks like this is all ready to go. So now what we need to do is we need to slowly pour our flour into this bowl. But I'm going to change spoons because this gets hard to stir with just a little tiny tablespoon. Okay. All right, are you able to help and pour just a tiny bit into this one here, please?
Absolutely. Or
And all we're wanting to do is just blend this together. We don't want to squash it all into there the first time, because then it would get too hard and it wouldn't mix very well either.
make sure.
Okay, now for the last little bit of
Little
flour.
bit in the
There we
bowl.
go. Oh, whoops. Okay, so what we have to do next is we need to take half of this batter and put into the pan, and then we're going to mix up the cream cheese filling. And it gets kind of tricky when you're trying to divide this batter into half. But I'll show you what I like to do. So what I like to do is just kind of level it off, and then with my spoon is make a line in the center part of my batter, and then I'm just going to scoop from the one side and put it into the buttered pan with the buttered parchment paper on it. Now we need to spread this. This gets to be a little bit tricky, so you would have to ask an adult that you have with you at home, or a brother or a sister, if they can maybe help even to hold the cake pan from wiggling around. Miss Kirk is going to help me. Here's what this part looks like for you guys at home. You're able to see that it's in there. So now what we need to do next is we need to add a 1/3 cup of sugar to the cream cheese. This is 1/3 cup, and because we're doubling that, I will need 2/3 in total. So this is 1. And that one is 2. And then we need to add 2 eggs to this. Okay, so this is the electric beater, and we are going to make sure, now remember when you're plugging in appliances, you have to hang on to the bottom part of the cord, okay? Not to the cord this way, make sure you're hanging on firmly with it here. And we're gonna put the beaters in first. And I don't have it plugged in yet, so then that way we know that Mrs. Humphrey's fingers are not going to get caught, okay? It's in the off position. We'll plug it in. So when you're beating, you want to go just on slow, on the lowest level you can, and just keep beating it until you get the sugar all mixed into the butter, or the cream cheese, sorry. And it looks like butter, that's why I think I said butter. Now, Miss Kirk, could you crack those eggs into the little dish just so that we make sure we don't have any eggshells coming with you? All right. Next, it says you need to spread the cream cheese filling over this first layer. So we're just going to pour it all in. And hopefully you guys can see that. So I'm just going to slowly start spreading this from side to side.
Should have a pudding-like consistency.
Yeah. And now all you're doing is just using the back of your spatula. You're just pulling the cream cheese filling all the way to the sides and to the corner. Your parchment paper might wiggle a little bit, but you can just pull it back. Alrighty, so now we have to put the remaining part of the batter on top of this. I can't really hold up the pan to show you because otherwise it's all going to slide out. I'm done with vanilla. So here's what we're going to do next. I'm going to go back to my spoon, my big tablespoon, and I'm just going to take bits of this batter and I'm just going to scoop it on. There we go. Okay, so now I'm just going to start trying to spread this out to the corners first and pulling the dough from each of those little spoonfuls or tablespoons just so that it covers the cream cheese. Mrs. Humphrey is just going to move the camera so she can get a good peek at it. There you go. So this is what it looks like right now. And next what we're going to do is we're going to take a knife. Take your knife and hold it and point the blade down. And you're going to just make zigzag patterns. Put your knife right to the bottom of the pan. You will hear it going across on the parchment paper. Turn your pan and go the other way. And what you want it to do is you want it to swirl it. You want it to get all mixed together. You can make the letter S shape back and forth. The more you swirl it, the more the cream cheese gets mixed together. So next we need to put this into the oven. In about 10 seconds. Now, because we doubled our recipe, the baking time is probably going to take a little bit longer. So we'll let it go for the full 40 minutes. When the timer rings, we'll take it out and we'll test it with a toothpick just to make sure that if it's cooked, great. If not, we'll put it back in for another 15 to 20 minutes. Oh yes, I can tell just from the top of this, it is not cooked. Do you see how it's wiggling there? That is not cooked enough. So we're gonna put it back into the oven for at least 15 to 20 minutes. Okay. This is looking much better now, but what we have to do is we have to check it to see if it is done. Because we did a double batch, I just have to turn that. There. Okay, so I have taken the toothpick out and I'm going to poke it into the center of it. Be very careful that you don't burn your hand. At the bottom of the toothpick, it is still showing some of the chocolate base that was at the bottom, the cake at the bottom. And I'm going to, again, poke this toothpick into the center of it. And this time it has come out clean. So that is telling me that everything is cooked just the way we want it. Okay, so